Pregnancy is a special time full of excitement and anticipation. But for expecting moms facing the outbreak of the coronavirus disease, fear, anxiety and uncertainty are clouding this otherwise happy time. We chat to clinical psychologist Stha Ndlovu on how expecting moms can manage their anxiety during this time. Welcome back to The Loft, Stha.
Thank you for having me back.
Stha, a ma who is going to give birth during a global pandemic, what feelings are they ought to feel during this time?
So having a baby under normal circumstances can be very stressful, with your body going through several changes and embodying the new role of being a new parent. It's all life-changing events that can definitely invoke feelings of anxiety. So feeling anxious and somewhat nervous is a normal response. During a pandemic, stress levels are heightened given the uncertainty with the pandemic or the virus. So expectant moms could therefore be experiencing feelings such as fear, worry, and just a sense of being robbed of fully experiencing the whole experience of being pregnant or giving birth.
What are some of the ways to manage anxiety in pregnancy during a pandemic?
I think what's important, firstly, is to recognize that it is normal. It's normal to feel anxiety. It's normal to feel like you want to have things under control and want to overly plan and you want to overly think the situation. Humans naturally want to feel in control of certain things. So we look for answers and we try to predict what could happen. And that's just our brain's way of trying to help us to feel safer. But focusing excessively on these thoughts can be unhelpful and can really cause emotional distress.
We saw with Urafika and Yazid here, they had their ideal birthing plan. They had set out in place, who's going to be there, how they were going to be there, to make sure that everything went along accordingly. But here it was turned upside down. I mean, how then does one adjust?
We know that in a lot of cultures, childbirth and pregnancy is really a family affair, and the pandemic has certainly presented limitations for the family fully experiencing the process together. So even though you have planned certain things, you have really made sure that certain things are in place and you've put in place necessary precautions, it can still be very, very difficult for you to sort of adjust and take on the new role and be able to fully function in that new role, especially if you're doing it on your own or you are unable to access support from extended family members and other people who may have ordinarily been available and ready to assist you during this process.
Many mothers can experience pre- and postnatal depression, and a global pandemic can certainly exacerbate their symptoms, making them feel even more isolated. What can they do to protect their mental health?
So it may really be difficult to make sense of how you're feeling, because you may be feeling many things. You may be feeling joy that you have a new baby and it is a joyous time for the family, but you may also be feeling fear because of the pandemic. You may be feeling fearful that you may contract the virus or that your baby's health may be jeopardized. And baby blues, which is feelings of being irritable, sad, all of the time, fluctuating moods, is common amongst new moms. And as you say, some moms experience pre or postnatal depression. It's definitely different from baby blues. And postnatal depression is much long-lasting and more pervasive and may need you to seek out psychological intervention. But it's really important that as you're experiencing these many emotions and feelings during this time, is that you be kind to yourself, that you allow yourself time to adjust the new role. And if you are feeling that the symptoms are overwhelming and they are persisting for much longer than just a couple of weeks, do seek out professional assistance.
Wow. It's normal to have the support of families once the baby comes home, but due to this pandemic, how can families still show their support for moms and baby?
So postpartum support is very, very important. And families can still help the new mom during this time by simply checking in, asking her how she feels, making sure that she has a space or a platform to express her emotions, help her taking care of the baby in whatever way that they are able to help. Also making use of technology to connect with other family members or friends that aren't very close to her. It could also be quite thoughtful to send care packages, really anything that can make her experience just a little bit less stressful.
That sounds key here. Just stepping out of yourself and not only thinking about how you're keeping up, but thinking how your neighbor or those expecting moms are keeping up and keeping safe during this time. What about expecting single moms to be? How can they gain the support that they need when social distancing needs to be practiced?
So this time has really forced us to be a bit creative in the way in which we do things. So it is important that single moms may still seek out help, perhaps virtual assistance where people can send care packages to them, can send baby essentials, can be able to support them even though they are away from them. It is still important that they seek out that help and that they are getting the assistance that they may need during this time.
What other tips and advice do you have for expecting moms to help ensure that their pregnancy is still a happy time, even though we're experiencing a pandemic?
I think it's important just to remember that this is a joyful time. It is a time that they've been expecting, that they've been anticipating for quite a while, 9 months of pregnancy, just thinking about what joy it will bring to have the baby. So just remember that while we are going through a lot of chaos, it is still okay to be happy about the new baby. It is still okay to be happy about what's happening in the family. A lot of people may experience guilt about being happy when other people are experiencing so much more. So it is important to remember this is a joyful time and it's okay to be happy. Also, moms need to pay attention to their own needs. Moms usually take a lot of care of the children and everyone else and just neglect themselves. So it's important to take care of yourselves as a new mom and also reach out whenever you are feeling overwhelmed.
Thank you so much for that advice, those tips, and to help us understand what is going on mentally with expecting moms and parents generally within the family structure. Thank you so much, Stha Ndlovu. Goodbye.
Bye.
That was clinical psychologist Stha Ndlovu reminding us that these feelings of anxiety, fear and nervousness, if you are a mom-to-be during a pandemic, is normal. But as a family unit, let's gather together and support the moms-to-be and baby.